Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about Dr. Paul Richards from the Bingham Hospital. So, stay tuned. Dr. Paul Richards, Bingham doctor. Dr. Paul Snelgrove Richards came to Bingham in 1922. He would leave 26 years later after building a legacy as the pioneer in occupational safety and health, setting up preventive health for the miners, like safety first programs, sanitation, better lighting and ventilation in the mines, helmets, and safety goggles. He was energetic, rose early, worked hard, improving community health, implementing childhood immunization, and introducing mass tonsillectomies for the poor children. Dr. Paul Richards was part of a physician's family, his grandfather being the first medical doctor, Willard Richards. Grandfather Willard's cousin was Brigham Young. He introduced Willard to the Book of Mormon. Willard will become a prominent leader in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He was with Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram Smith in the Carthage jail when they were murdered. Dr. Paul Richards was born November 25th, 1892, just a few years before the time of Utah statehood. That was on January 4th, 1896. He was a sickly child fighting his way through many illnesses. One, inflammatory rheumatism. On top of that, he suffered from a stammer. Over the years, he was helped and encouraged by his mother and family. In 1911, he served on a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Scotland. Here's a picture of Elder Richards on his mission in Scotland. The mission built his confidence greatly and helped him overcome his stammer. Returning home, he completed high school, being behind because of all of his illnesses, then to LDS College, and then to Harvard Medical School. He married Ethel Benyon on September 7th, 1916. They went off to school in Boston. Working to become a woman's doctor, he developed a new technique using radium to treat cancer of the cervix and uterus. This was before the dangers of X-rays and radium were fully known. Dr. Paul Richards exposed his hands to radium, damaging them. This will plague him for the rest of his life. His last years in Boston, he purchased the old Model T Ford. He repaired it himself. At the end of his residency, he drove his small family back to Utah, visiting historic church sites on the way home. Dr. Paul Richards' first day back in Salt Lake City, October 22nd, 1922, he was contacted by Dr. Fred E. Straub's assistant. He offered him a job at Bingham's hospital for 3 months until Dr. Straub recovered from his illness. Those 3 months will turn into 26 years. His eldest daughter would say, quote, he was going to be a ladies' doctor and woke up being the miner's savior, unquote. Dr. Richards spent his first days at the Bingham Hospital cleaning. He focused on the operating room. With soap and brush he purchased himself at JCPenney, he cleaned all morning. Good thing, in less than 48 hours, there will be a ruptured appendix, and a pregnancy case and operation was necessary. He also purchased a pressure cooker for sterilization. Dr. Richard developed a new technique in back surgery. It will be used worldwide. He eventually took over the hospital, which had been started by Dr. Straub. Over the years, he would expand and improve the hospital, making it the best in the region. He worked tirelessly, working with the community, helping to improve conditions. Dr. Richards was truly surprised on his first day of his practice. In his waiting room, by the ethnic diversity of the people. Visiting the grade school up in Highland Boy, the principal told him that out of 300 students at the school, there was 22 nationalities. He helped the people of Bingham through the many hard times, the 1926 avalanche up in Highland Boy and the 1932 Highland Boy fire, the Depression, and the other calamities that affected the canyon. He was always impressed how the community came together and helped each other. Because of his help, To reduce injuries and fatalities among the miners, he would be known as the father of occupational health in Utah. Dr. Paul Richards left Bingham in 1948, mostly because of his injured hands. Skin cancer, he had many operations, but would suffer the rest of his life in pain. He continued to practice as much as he could. He died November 20th, 1958. The people of Bingham loved Dr. Paul Richards and still talk fondly about him.